So the big question is this: how do you lose all the weight that you want and actually keep it off for the rest of your life, while trying to make sense of all the noise that comes from the weight loss industry? That is the question. And this podcast will give you the answers.
G'day guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Weight Loss Secrets podcast. My name is Baron Grant and I'm rapt to be with you to share another tip, another idea, something, anything that's going to help you be able to lose the weight and keep it off for the rest of your lives. And today I'm going to talk about dried fruit. But before I do, remember, if you want some help on your weight loss journey and feel like you can't maybe do it by yourself, head to ditchingthediet.com where you can download my book, you can look at a program, you can book a call with me and we can have a chat on the phone and see if I can help you on the journey. Because sometimes you need a little bit of support to be able to get there, particularly if you've got a bit more extra weight to lose. Sometimes you need a bit of help to get that done. And so I'd love to be able to help you on the journey. With all that said, dried fruit. That's what we're going to talk about today. But before I go into the details of said dried fruits, I just want to, frame it up, because fruit is healthy, but can be, if you choose the wrong ones, unhelpful, or if you eat too much of it, unhelpful when you're trying to lose weight. So here's the deal. Fruit is great and wonderful and contains amazing nutrients for our body, and we need it, and it's terrific and it's great, but it contains lots of sugar. So all fruit that we eat contains sugar. So when we choose fruit, we need to choose low sugar options. Now, I'm not going to go through low sugar options on this video, but I just wanted to frame that up because there's a reason why dried fruit is really not your best friend, and understanding first off that sugar, there's lots of sugar in fruit, is important. And an extra important point on sugar in fruit is that just because it's healthy, I say in inverted commas, sugar, is that it still stores as fat in the same way as sugar does from chocolate. So there's a bit of a furphy around that, processed sugars are worse than natural sugars. Well, I'm only talking from a weight perspective, right? So whether you get your sugar from a banana or you get it from a chocolate bar, that stuff is still going to store as fat pretty quickly in your body. Doesn't matter. All turns to glucose, and if you've got excess glucose in your body, you're going to end up getting more fat on your body. So understanding that all fruit contains sugar is a good place to start when we talk about the dried fruit component and understanding why it has high calorie and sugar content. So let's give some examples. So the way I've gone with this is I've taken just two of the main type of dried fruits that people like the best. From what I've seen in my life, there's no statistical evidence to indicate that these are the favorites, right? But I think banana chips and dried apricot, I think is some of the favorites that I've seen sort of throughout my life. If you think there's more popular ones out there, you chuck me a comment below and I'll do something about that one as well. But these ones I see as some of the favorites. Now, with this said, when I talk about dried fruits, I want you to keep in perspective the stuff that I've spoken about on some other videos. So if you haven't seen those other videos, you can watch those videos now on understanding your basal metabolic rate and calories and all that sort of stuff, because when you watch those, it puts it in perspective about why the numbers I'm going to talk about right now are important. Always remembering that I don't get people to count calories when I help them lose weight. I don't think that's sustainable, but you do have to get in calorie deficit. If you eat the right food, you can get into calorie deficit without counting them, but you have to understand that that's where you've got to play. You've got to eat below what your daily requirements are, and that you can work that out by understanding your basal metabolic rate. So that's on another video, you can go check that out. But when you understand that the average basal metabolic rate, or the average amount of energy that a person needs on a day-to-day basis, is somewhere between 15 and 1700. Now, people who want you to get overweight will tell you that it's much higher than that. It is just not. And we don't need as much food as what we think we do. And so keep that number in mind. If someone, particularly for a woman, averages around about 1500 calories a day. If you want to make any meaningful difference to your weight, you probably end up eating about 1000 calories a day. Now, that's very rough numbers, and I don't get people to count them anyway, but that's a sort of drop down that you'll need to have. When you're heavier, your body requires more, and so it doesn't need to go quite as low. But that just to frame this discussion up, because now the numbers make a bit more sense. Because if you're only eating 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 calories, when I explain the enormous amount of calories that are in dried fruit, it'll make your head explode a little bit. Because almost half your daily food intake is gone if you eat this stuff. So let's start off with a banana, because banana I think is maybe universally one of the most favourite fruits. Not great when you're trying to lose weight because it's pretty high in sugar, but let's just use that as an example for a dried fruit versus a normal banana. So I'm going to work on the premise of 100 grams, because all the bananas are different sizes, so we'll just work on 100 grams. So if you've got 100 grams of banana, just from the greengrocer or from Coles or wherever you go, and you were to eat that, you would consume somewhere around about 89 calories, right? That's 100 grams. And you'll consume 12 grams of sugar in that banana. So 89 calories, 12 grams of sugar in about 100 grams of banana. Now, if you take that same 100 grams, but have it in banana chips, so the dried, the little circular banana chips, that dried fruit, you're going to consume, wait for it, 519 calories. 500, so I have to say it again for dramatic effect. 519 calories compared to 89 if you just ate the actual thing, the normal banana. And then the sugar content goes from 12 grams to 35 grams. Look at the huge difference, right? So you've got 400 and something more calories for the same gram amount versus, and effectively, triple the amount of sugar in that same 100 gram amount. Now, why is this? It's because all the water is taken out, and so the calories and the sugar is concentrated into a smaller piece. So because there's no water bulking it up, bang, you will end up being able to consume lots of them, but it's all sugar, and that's the equivalent anyway. So it's crazy. That's number one. So I don't know about you, but eating 500 of my calories, maybe more than half potentially, or somewhere around half of your calories when you're trying to lose weight, is not a great approach. Also, it's not just 509 calories, it's the 35 grams of sugar that goes along with it. These bananas are high in sugar and high in carbohydrates. And remember, sugar and carbs turn to glucose in our bodies. Obviously, some go faster than others and whatever else. Don't worry about that right now. We just can't consume loads of carbs and sugar. And so banana chips are huge calories, huge sugar. So not a great option. All right, so second one is apricots. Apricots, if you go 100 grams of apricot, just not dried, we're talking 48 calories. So that's significantly better than the banana with 9 grams of sugar. So once again, better than the banana at 12 grams of sugar. So straight away, that's a better option from a weight loss perspective. But then when we look at the dried component, this is fascinating, right? So the dried component is 241 calories for your 100 grams as opposed to 48 calories. That's a huge difference again. And then the sugar component, 53 grams in that 100 grams. 53 grams of sugar in that 100 grams. Enormous compared to the 9 grams of sugar in the regular apricot. So needless to say, when we start to look at dried fruit, it is a terrible option when you're trying to lose weight. Why? Because of the water being taken out of it, a lot of the bulk has disappeared and you're left with a concentrated sugar content and calorie content. Huge calories, huge sugar. What does that mean? Gaining weight. That's what it means. It certainly doesn't mean losing weight. So when you're trying to lose weight, dried fruit is a terrible option. Terrible. Don't have it at all. No good. You're better to have the piece of fruit. Look at the difference. An apricot, 48 calories versus 241 for the dried. A banana, 89 calories versus 519. And then the sugar contents, as I mentioned, they go up 3 times on the banana, and we're talking 5 times the amount of sugar in dried apricots versus the actual just standard apricot off the shelf. So, message today. Fruit is not your best friend when it comes to losing weight. You can make some good options there, but the real message today is dried fruit is never your best friend and should never be your friend at all. Shouldn't even be an acquaintance when you're trying to lose weight. Don't go near it, don't touch it. You literally may as well eat a king-size Snickers bar. Oh, that's a good comparison. There's in a king-size Snickers bar, there's 440 calories. In the banana chips, 100 grams of banana chips, 519. You might as well eat the chocolate bar. I'm not advocating that, but that's pretty much what you're doing. So stay away from it. No dried fruit. If you're trying to lose weight, stay away from the dried fruit. It's not helpful. And I can't wait to bring you some more tips, secrets, tricks, and ideas tomorrow. Talk soon.